Alrighty, welcome to the Rise Up podcast. I am your host, Jonah Mitchell, and on this show, I do my best to help you rise up to your potential when it comes to your health and your wellness, whether it be weight loss, fat loss, body recomposition, whatever it is. I want you to be able to live a happy and healthy life by simplifying everything that goes into these processes and help you realize that this isn't as hard as it has been, or it's not as hard as you think it's supposed to be. And I've been gone for a little while from updating the show, mainly because last week I was actually on another podcast, and it was a lot of fun. And it just they have a way cooler setup than I do, and it was just a more it was it was more professional, and it was really exciting to be a part of that. And I just didn't have time to hop on and do my own episodes. So if you want to listen to that, that's going to be linked in the show notes as well. The podcast is called Inspired by the Inspired with CJ and Sean, and that was super cool. Got to share some of my story and some more tactics when it comes to health and wellness. Just got to share my little flavor of what I do for my clients and for you guys who listen, and I really appreciate it. So with that, I just want to let you know, like, if you learned something today, if you find this helpful in any way, please do me a favor and just share it with at least one person that you might find that could help this process as well. Because most important thing is for me to help at least one person a day. And when you do that for me, it means a lot. It means the world to me to continue to do my best to fulfill my passion. Helping people is literally my joy in life. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. It's cold right now. We're gonna jump into this episode. It's gonna be a shorter episode because it's just been like my internet just came back on because of this stupid flash winter storm that came up, and I want to get this in while it's fresh in my mind. So we're going to get right into it and talk about how we are going to speed up our results, how you're going to speed up your results so that you get to your goal faster. And just like what I love doing, everything I do, I love subverting your expectations because this is not going to be your typical let's speed things up, meaning we're not going to amplify the amount of workouts we're doing. We're not going to cut out carbs or any other food group for that matter. We're going to shift the way we see this process. All right. I want you to think about speed in a different way than you've been thinking about it before. All right. Speed, when it comes to weight loss, is relative. And when I say that, I want you to think how long it took you to get to this place where you're unhappy, right? Where you are ready to make the change and go all in on yourself, right? Was it a year? Was it a few years? Has it been the vast majority of your life where it's just kind of been on and off, right? Like, how long has this been a struggle for you, right? Did that feel like a long time? Probably not. Probably just you kind of woke up and they're, holy crap, I'm here now, right? And then when we're in these moments that we want to make drastic change, we want to get out of this uncomfortable place that we've been in. We want to do everything all at once and just immediately erase the months, years, decades of misaligned choices that we were making that we weren't generally aware of, right? And you've probably been down this road before. I certainly have. Is when we start paying attention and we want to see results quickly, we get very frustrated when the scale doesn't move or the clothes don't fit better or the body composition doesn't change because we're doing everything right now, right? We're hitting 10,000 steps. We're working out 5-6 days a week. We're drinking a gallon of water. We're eating our vegetables, our fruits, our protein. And yeah, we're tracking calories to a T, right? But we're trying to do all of the things right now. And when we try to change a lot pretty quickly, it doesn't always account for the curveballs that life will always, hear me, always be throwing at you, right? My number one skill that I want everyone to accomplish to accomplish and understand and get really good at is how to accommodate to the curveballs, right? You will never be perfect. Even if you do dial in and do all the things consistently, right? If you're doing everything and you get to your goal, you have to sustain those things. But if we're trying to change everything and life throws a curveball like a death in the family or being sick, loss of a job, or anything that causes lots of stress on our lives, it's very difficult to maintain all of those changes, because you didn't learn how to build yourself up to those. You're just using the motivational feeling that, yeah, is very exciting, very motivating. We can do all this stuff really quickly. Yes, 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 yes. I wish if I had this motivation, if I like this time's gonna be different because I am more motivated than last time. I have more willpower than last time, right? But it's not a matter of willpower, right? Because eventually the emotions drop, they go away. Just like you're never happy all the time, you're never sad all the time, right? We cannot expect motivation to be our pure driver because there's going to be days where you don't want to do shit. And that's okay. We're human beings. Sometimes we need to recharge. It's going to be a different conversation. So this is not speeding up your results does not mean do everything all at once. Yeah, you can see results quickly, but if you lose if you lose weight in 3 months and it comes back the next 3, was it worth it? Was it? Probably not, right? Probably wasn't as worth it as you would have hoped. So that really think about this, think about that, and think about this in this light, right? If we try to change everything and we lose weight, but it comes back over, like we lose weight in 3 months and then the weight stays off for maybe a couple, but then it comes back within the next 3 to 6, right? We've just extended the amount of time it's going to take for you to truly get to your goal and stay there, right? Because it's not just about losing the weight. Losing the weight is a lot easier than keeping it off, right? So let's think about, like, again, if we're trying to lose weight quickly and we're trying to do a lot quickly and we truly can't sustain that when life inevitably will throw the curveballs, right? There's some people who can push through that, and I'm not disregarding it, but I'm just saying, let's start from the ground up instead of top down, right? Let's build the foundation first. So when we're speeding things up, I'm talking about the length of time, the total length of time it's going to take for you to get to your goal and feel confident that you can sustain those goals, right? Because getting to a number on the scale is cool, but if you're not confident, if you're not happy in that current state, right, you feel like you cannot stop tracking calories, or you cannot stop going to the gym 7 days a week, right? You don't have the ability to let go of those tools to live your life, right? You're still not really at your goal, because do you want to cut out carbs for the rest of your life? Do you want to track calories for the rest of your life? Probably not. So now we're not even at our goal, even though the scale says we're there, but we're not living the life that we want to live, right? So now we got to think about the total time it takes for us to get not only to our physical goal, but the lifestyle that we want to live while maintaining those goals, right? So the speeding up your results process is allowing yourself to slow down. Slow down and let yourself understand what you're doing. Instead of, I want to change everything rapidly, maybe I just want to change 1 or 2 things, right? I was just talking to a client who's been working with me for about a month now. It's flown by. It's absolutely ridiculous. And we only started her with just very simple things, right? Can you get a protein in every meal? Can you add 1 vegetable into your day to day, right? And that was it. And she literally looked at me like, that's all I got to do? I was like, yeah, that's all you got to do. Because I don't need to throw a bunch of numbers at you and say, you need to hit these right now, when we don't yet understand how we feel, what foods make us feel better, what foods that we like throwing in our diet on a consistent basis, right? And what can we do? What small things that we can do that can take where we're currently at and improve the situation a little bit better? Right. And it's going to depend. Like this client specifically, she's a mom. The husband travels a lot, and it's very hard for her to always keep up with lots of changes. So if we throw more changes at her, and it's a high amount of changes she needs to keep up with when she's already got 30,000 things on her to-do list, well, it's going to be very easy for the thing that she's not doing consistently, the thing that's not a habit yet, to be put on the back burner because she's got another 5, 6 things to add to her to-do list. And she's more likely to put those on the back burner. But if I make it 1 or 2, right, and it's very low barrier, where it's not protein every meal, it's protein or at least 1 additional protein or at least 1 additional vegetable on a day-to-day basis, right? We trick our brain into seeing it as another add-on to the amount of shit we're already doing. And we start seeing like, oh, that's pretty easy. I can do that. Right? And now we're starting to trick your brain. Now we're starting to trick your relationship with this process. It's not about how much you can do in a little amount of time. It's how much can you believe you can actually do, right? How much can you accomplish? in the time that you have allotted. Right. And this completely starts rewiring the relationship with it, because now you're starting to focus more on what you can do instead of everything that you can't do. And because it's so simple, no matter what you have going on in your life, you are aware, all I have to do is add one protein. All I have to do is add one vegetable. So now you're practicing much more consistently, right? You can practice all the things you're doing at once. But again, if life gets pretty damn hard, it's going to be hard to really hone in on all 5 or 6 of the things and make those habits. But when it's 1 or 2 at a time, you get to see those occasions come up more frequently. And even when life does get pretty hard, you're not likely to throw it on the back burner. You're likely to look for the opportunity to get that simple goal in. Right. And then we start building. Then we start adding the other layers. Right. I work people up to 3 to 4 servings of protein, 1 to 2 servings of fruit, 2 to 4 servings of complex carbs, and 2 to 4 servings of vegetables a day. Right. If we do that about 80% of the time, you're in a great place. That's before we even talk about macros and calories. Right. We focus a lot on adding into our diet consistently. So we use that as a general guideline. And when we start paying attention to being able to add those in and pay attention to how those foods make us feel, we start to notice that, well, those are easier on our digestion. Those improve our energy for throughout the day. Then we start to pay attention to the foods that kind of tank our energy, that make us feel a little bit lethargic. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to prioritize the foods that are easy to add in my diet that make me feel better more consistently. And I want to do that instead of I have to do that, right? We're thinking long term while we're in the moment. And yeah, it doesn't feel like you're doing a whole lot, but everyone is super convinced that they have to be burning thousands of calories and slashing all their they have to be slashing their calories and eating clean 24/7. You don't, right? Because that takes us to a path where we can lose the weight, the number on the scale goes down, but we don't understand how to sustain it. And then when motivation's gone and life always punches us in the mouth, we always tend to let go of the thing that's hard to sustain. It's like, oh man, I think about my food is too much right now. Trying to get to the gym 6 days a week is too hard. Man, I don't have time to drink water. I don't have time to meal prep and cook all these protein and all these veggies, and I just don't have the time. Right? That we stop that entire process, and then we get off the loop of losing weight pretty quickly and then allowing it to come back pretty quickly. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to lose weight rapidly, right? Because I'm really trying to get you to see that your foundation, how you want to live after the weight is gone, is equally as important as the weight that does come off. And if we do this first, we stop putting the cart before the horse, right? Where you're putting weight loss as the most important thing, and then the journey, and then the process. No, it's process first, then results, then weight loss, right? Create awareness and understanding of where you're currently at, right? What are you missing? What would you like to improve on, right? Everyone knows that they can do a little bit better with their nutrition and their water intake and their exercise. Well, let's pick 1 or 2 that you're confident in being able to do on a regular basis, no matter what is going on. And let's just make that the staple for right now and do that for 1 week. Do that for 1 week. Pick one. If it's your steps, if it's your water, if it's your food, whatever it is, pick one and make it easy. Don't make it 10,000 steps every single day. Give yourself a floor. Right? Give yourself a floor. And I think I have an episode just about raising your floor. And this is kind of a piggyback off of it. But again, it's reframing that this is going to speed up the results, because the total time it's going to take for you to not only see the physical, but also feel comfortable and confident in that. Like if that takes you 6 months to 6 to 12 months, and you can walk away from that experience at the place you want to be physically, or at least well off and on your way to doing those things, right? And you understand it and you're confident in yourself. That is that's such a short amount of fucking time. Pardon my French, but if you listen to me for a while, I fucking cuss. I'm sorry. But anyway, it's such a short amount of time compared to the amount of time you spent uncomfortable. Speeding up your results is about understanding what is the life we want to live after the weight is gone, right? And then practicing those habits, practicing how we want to feel in every scenario, and reminding ourselves over and over and over again how we can show up the best way that we possibly can, instead of focusing on everything that we can't do right now because we don't have the time. Your brain gets what you're looking for. This is called the reticular activating system, right? It's the same reason why you notice the car you drive everywhere you go, right? It's not that people bought more of those cars, it's because you are now aware of them, right? If you get a new car, like you get a rental car, you're probably going to start seeing that car more consistently because you're telling your brain what to focus on. It's important to you, right? And for some reason, our brain cannot distinguish an unhealthy thought pattern. It just looks at survival and thriving, right? So if we get used to just seeing everything that we don't accomplish and we don't feel good about, it's going to remind us of all the things that we don't accomplish and we don't feel good about, which again is going to extend the time it takes for us to get to where we want to go, because we're going to make a lot of decisions out of discomfort, hatred, or frustration. And when we make decisions out of those, right, we're just doing anything in our power to relieve that discomfort. And we don't think ahead of the possible detriments of the relationships that we're going to ruin with our food or ourselves. Again, theoretically, lengthening the time it takes for us to get to where we want to go. So if we start first from the foundation, from what can I do, and I'm confident in being able to do that, you're training your brain to look for those opportunities instead of trying to hit all your numbers because you have to in order to see results. No, you're starting to see the opportunity. You'll start to see more opportunities that you can start to excel at, and it's slowing down and allowing yourself to pay attention, to remind yourself of what is going on, so that then the steps that you do apply, the layers that you do add, right, when you're working up to those ideal ratios, right, then you can start tracking calories and understanding what the numbers mean to you. This is exactly how I walk people through. I build them up to those ratios I talked about earlier, right, with the protein, carbs, and fruits and veggies, right? Then we start tracking their current intake at that level. How much protein are they eating? What's their total calories, right? What is their goal now? Do we need to limit calorie intake? Do we need to increase protein intake to see more definition, right? We start with the foundation and then we put the details in later. The foundation makes the house much more sturdy to live in. And then the details, the house isn't shaking when you're putting those in, and then eventually bringing the house to a collapse. You are building something sturdy that you can sustain, that will help you continue to see the life that you want to live. And you don't hate it. You like it because you're attached to far more than just a number and a discomfort and an uncomfortable place. You're attached to a lifestyle that makes you feel like yourself. And the more we can do that, the shorter, really, it feels like it's going to take longer. But again, we're not just thinking about the weight loss. We're thinking about the complete and full freedom that we want to have with our food and our health. And we do the things that we make us feel good, that align with our health and our fitness goals, that we like showing up for, so that we can sustain those goals. Because once you get to a place where you're happy, all you have to do is keep doing what you did to get there. There's no going back to your old normal, because your old normal is what put you in that place before that you were unhappy with. You create a new normal and you like that new normal because you're attached to it more than just a number. All right. So I hope that makes sense. And like I said, this is all what I try to do is help shift your perspective, right? Speeding up results is about slowing down and building the foundation the way that you need to, and stop jumping on every bandwagon, every macro prescription, every workout program, every bullshit diet that's thrown at you, and slow down and figure out what hill you need to climb, what bridge you need to cross, whatever analogy you need to think about this. Because no matter which bridge or hill you need to cross, when you're at the other side or when you're at the top, it's not done. There's another hill, or there's another bridge, there's another lesson. There's going to take a lot of trial and error in this process, and that's okay. Be okay with trying stuff, because you're not going to figure out the first time. Most of us are still trying to figure out in a lot later in life. And if we just slow down for a second and just think, how can we start improving our current situation, it'll get a lot easier, and I promise you. All right. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope this helped start to shift your focus a little bit. And I know this was a short episode. I wanted to get it out because I wanted to share with you. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, if you found this helpful, please share this with at least one person. If you're not already following me on other social medias, those are listed in the show notes below, or I do a lot of my short content, my short form content, and that, you'll see my little quips every now and again. All right. So hope you have a great rest of your day or night, whenever you listen to this, and I'll see you on the next one.